Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Today we have some incredibly exciting news to share with you all, and as many of you have probably put together by now, Spider-Man is indeed the first Marvel drop on VeVe. But before we get too far, I'd like to introduce you to our special guests. So joining us today we have Mr. Ryan Penagos, and Ryan is the Vice President and Creative Executive at Marvel, aka Agent M. And of course, we have our illustrious co-founders, Mr. David Yu and Mr. Dan Crothers. So first things first, welcome everybody.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Very excited.
Ryan, we might start with you. If you don't mind giving everybody just a brief intro into who you are and your role at Marvel.
Yeah, so I'm a VP and Creative Executive for Marvel's digital media team, which is awesome. But like the coolest thing is I get to play around with Marvel stuff all the time. I've been at Marvel for almost 15 years, doing all kinds of fun stuff. I host a couple of our Marvel podcasts called This Week in Marvel and Marvel's Pull List. I host a lot of videos and do a lot of fun stuff. I've been in the comics, drawn in there. I made a cameo in Marvel's MODOK TV show recently. I have been in a couple of our Marvel video games. I get to hang out and talk with the Marvel fans. I live a pretty good life, thanks to Marvel. I'll say that.
It certainly sounds it. It certainly sounds it. It's great. I love that you've been immortalized in some of those games. Now,
it's wild.
Sorry. Yeah, obviously we're all incredibly excited about this launch, but I'm sure that a lot of people would love to hear it from your side too. Maybe you can give us some insight into what Marvel is the most excited about when it comes to this first release.
I mean, there's a number of things, right? This is an awesome way for Marvel to connect with fans, and that's what it's always been for Marvel. And you think about going back to the 1960s, where Marvel was really becoming what we think of it now. There was a lot of connection to the fans. We were getting letters, like heaping piles of letters every day to the Marvel offices. And Fabulous Flo she would open up the letters and she would read them, she would answer them, she would share them with the staff. And there was that connection between the fans, who were also collectors, and the staff, the stories, the comics, the characters. And so that has sort of just evolved through time as Marvel has evolved through time. And I think this is really cool because this is the first time that fans will be able to really interact and purchase these official Marvel NFT digital collectibles. It's like just the idea of it being a first is so cool, and a way for us to further, really connect with our fandom is the best.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, there's just not many times where you get to have a first of something, and moving them into a digital medium is really exciting for us. And I know on our side we've really found that VeVe, it's not just connecting fans to fandoms, it's really connecting people to each other. We get a lot of nice messages, families coming together, friends coming together for drop day and sharing that experience and excitement. So it's a really humbling thing to be a part of. Now, David, obviously we've known Marvel was coming for a while, but I think we only announced it last month. It feels like a lifetime ago. Do you want to give our community some insight into what it means to us to finally be able to reveal Spider-Man as the first drop, and really why did it have to be Spider-Man?
Yeah, thanks for that. Number one, thanks Ryan coming on our show. And most important thing to our audience is a huge fan. The VeVe is all about fandom, and most important is we always wanted to have great superhero lineups, and what else is better to have Spider-Man, one of the most well-recognized characters. And number one is, it's one of my most favorite character in Marvel. So, bringing it alive, and, today you'll see some great previews throughout the show, why we have chosen this iconic character. And, I really hope our audience will love this and really connect to it and taking that to the next level with this in VeVe. And thanks for waiting for this opportunity. It's been, myself and Daniel has been working on this for, a year plus, a long time. Yeah, so thanks for waiting, and this is it.
This is it. This is it. Yeah, the excitement is palpable, that's for sure. And Ryan, I mean, I'm sure you can probably add some color to that. Obviously, people know who Spider-Man is, but they may not really understand his place or his legacy in the wider Marvel universe. Do you have any insight there?
Well, I mean, Spider-Man is the greatest fictional character of all time. You can at me, you can give me any of your opinions, but you're wrong if you disagree, because Spider-Man is the best. He's not our first Marvel superhero, but he's the one that resonates, I think, the most with almost everyone. I have a 22-month-old daughter, and the first time she saw Spider-Man swing on, I was playing a video game on my TV, it was just like fireworks going off in front of her face, and she calls him baby. Like, she has such reverence for a character she just experienced for the first time recently. And I think you take that and you look around, the world, everyone has a Spider-Man connection. Everyone feels like they can be Spider-Man. You feel like you can swing as Spider-Man because under that mask, maybe you could. Spider-Man is special to everyone, not just in Marvel, but I think around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that, in the early days of Spider-Man, the connections were really made because he was a real superhero, a real person behind the mask. And I think that that's a real attribute that has helped that character connect with everybody. Mm-hmm. And look, obviously with VeVe, we're bringing together quite a number of new technologies to create this digital collectibles experience. What impact do you think that's going to have on the Spider-Man legacy? I mean, is this really entering a new era of fandom?
I mean, look, fans are collectors, right? So I'm sitting in my home office to record all this stuff. I'm surrounded by my fandoms. Marvel all over here. There's other stuff there. There's, I have 29 long boxes full of Marvel comics that you can't see on camera. But it's like there's all this collection and all this stuff. And I think the VeVe platform and the technology and everything, it gives fans new ways to collect and to interact, and to share. And like, that experience is such an integral part of being a fan, of being a collector, of someone who just, you obsess in a good way about all these things. And I think this is going to be really cool for Marvel fans, and even for like, I know I was looking at the VeVe platform and seeing all the other brands and stuff. It's like, maybe you're a fan of this, but then you also see Spider-Man because Spider-Man. You see the Marvel Red Block logo, and you're like, oh, what's that? And like, that light just clicks on. There's that snap, and it's I think it's going to be something really special.
Yeah, I think we are all in agreement there. And it sounds like you and David could compare some collections there too. You've got boxes of comics.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah, that's it. Well, look, we've probably kept people waiting long enough. Dan, I believe you have some collectibles that we're going to show people. A little reveal. Is that ready to go?
What we're looking at here now is one of the poses, obviously Spider-Man's iconic crouch pose. And this crouch pose is also used in one of the animated ones we have. As you can see, Spider-Man does his epic jump up. You can see just at the top of the screen there's a beautiful bit of web that attaches to the roof. And then the second animation, which we're looking at right now, is Spider-Man's backflip. And of course, if we're going to release Spider-Man, we have to do one with a web sling, with a web shoot. So I'm anticipating there's going to be a lot of really cool, fun AR around this. Now, I'm not sure if you can see it too well in that particular video, but there's some really cool Spidey sense features coming out from his head just before he does the backflip. So looking forward to seeing a lot of cool stuff in AR about that. And then lastly, this is our third pose here with Spider-Man in his iconic shoot pose. Got to say, this one here is probably one of my favorite.
Like, we've seen a few animated collectibles on VeVe already, but probably nothing as dynamic or iconic as this. Do you want to just share a bit of the process, behind the scenes to make these things?
Yes, in fact, I can describe it in a few words, which is very long and difficult. When you're making just a posed model, that's that really comes down to an artist sculpting in the same way that they would have done back in the sort of the clay days. And there are a lot of very talented artists out there now when it comes to modeling. However, when it comes to an animated collectible, there are a whole bunch of different rules. The collectible itself needs to have like a digital skeleton inside it. And then, for example, where the elbow bends, we need to do special shaping and sculpting around that to ensure that there's a a real nice smooth bend, and it doesn't just look like a piece of floppy pipe bending. It actually looks like an elbow. And then really, one of the things about animation as well is that the human eye will immediately spot if something is wrong or if something is out. Same as, if you try to draw a face, the reason I'm not in the art department, but if you try to draw a face and it's slightly out, our human brain picks it up very, very quickly. So, and it's just very similar with animation as well. So it comes down to a lot of the nuances, to get those animation right. And obviously, Spider-Man is iconic. He has very specific moves. And we want to make sure that we nail that. And yeah, I'm really very, very happy with the result.
Oh yeah, they look absolutely amazing. And obviously people have just seen the preview there. Ryan, that's probably Spider-Man as most people recognize him. But over the years, there's obviously been quite a number of iterations or reimaginings of the character. While we've got you, do you have a favorite Spider-Man story or a memory or something like that from the time at Marvel or before?
I mean, it's a great question, tough question. Yeah, I like the Spider-Man design y'all have here because it is so iconic and classic. When he's shooting his webs, the thwip as we call it, it looked really great. I have so many favorite Spider-Man stories. He's probably my favorite Marvel superhero. We have writer Dan Slott did a tremendous run on the character over years. There's an issue, Amazing Spider-Man number 801 with Dan Slott and artist Marcos Martin is kind of the perfect Spider-Man story. I won't spoil anything, but it's something that, as all of our VeVe collectors out there, go collect that comic book, go find it, go read it. I grew up in the 90s, so there's tons of 90s Spider-Man that I love, whether it's the cartoon or various video games or stuff from, Sinister Six stories, or honestly, Spider-Man number 17 from 1991. Spider-Man dies, saving a little girl, and then goes face-to-face with Thanos and Death. That's maybe my favorite story.
That's the one. Yeah, okay. Hot tip for everybody out there. That's incredible. All right, well, look, I guess we better confirm when this drop is happening. Dan, is it? It's coming this week?
Yep, drops August 7. Get your finger exercises underway. Lie as close as you can to the router. Get the highest speed fiber you can, and good luck to everybody.
Yeah, and share all your tricks with me. That's number one. Now, look, I better ask this question because I know that other people will be asking me about it. Is this the only drop we're going to see from Marvel in the next few weeks or months? What can people expect?
Well, I think we also announced that we'll be bringing out comics, and hopefully this will be rolling out in the coming months. There's a lot of tech behind it. My favorite comic back here right now, it's all in the plastic case. So hoping, to read this one. It's a special variant cover, and we will have a lot of different versions of covers coming out. Please do check us out in coming weeks and months.
Yep. Stay tuned. Stay tuned on the next drops. Look, this is surely to get everybody incredibly excited anyway. So, look, if anyone's not following us yet, make sure you go and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. The handle is @VeVe_official. And of course, please use the hashtag MarvelXVeVe during the drop so that we can find all of your amazing pictures. Share that excitement around with everybody else. It really makes a big difference. That's all from me, gents. Ryan, I just want to say a very big thank you to you. Is there anywhere people can find out more about you or hear from you during the weeks?
Just Agent M on Twitter and Instagram, and my podcast, This Week in Marvel, is probably the best place to hear me talk about all kinds of random Marvel stuff every single week.
It's the best way to get the fandom going. Dan and David, as always, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll chat to everyone again soon.
Thanks, Rhys.